Mars, a world draped in ochre and rust, eternally suspended in the cosmic theater, has long served as humanity's celestial muse. For centuries, it has represented a beacon of potential, a tantalizing prospect for future colonization. However, what if these hopeful aspirations are merely a veil obscuring a far more somber and tragic truth?
What if Mars isn't a pristine canvas awaiting our future endeavors, but a world scarred by a self-inflicted cataclysm, a testament to a civilization consumed by the very fire it sought to harness? This chilling proposition, championed by Dr. John E. Brandenburg's controversial nuclear war theory, continues to fuel debate and captivate imaginations even as it faces persistent resistance from the broader scientific community.
Brandenburg's hypothesis, initially unveiled in 2011 and recently re-examined during a prominent podcast appearance, is predicated upon a series of alleged anomalies detected both on the Martian surface and within its atmospheric composition. At the heart of his argument lies the assertion of elevated concentrations of xenon-129 within the Martian atmosphere. Xenon-129, a specific isotope of the noble gas xenon, is frequently associated with nuclear fission processes. Brandenburg draws upon data obtained from NASA's Mars Odyssey orbiter, indicating significantly higher levels of xenon-129 in particular regions of Mars when compared to the average abundance observed throughout the solar system. He contends that these elevated levels are indicative of the aftermath of one or more nuclear explosions.
To further substantiate his claims, Brandenburg highlights the presence of uranium and thorium on the Martian surface, particularly within regions such as Cydonia Mensae and Utopia Planetary. He argues that these areas exhibit concentrations of these radioactive elements that far exceed what would be anticipated from natural background radiation levels, drawing a parallel to terrestrial nuclear test sites, where similar elevated concentrations of uranium and thorium are commonly found in the surrounding soil and debris. Brandenburg posits a shared origin.
He also draws attention to the existence of glassy substances found on the Martian surface, often referred to as Trinitite, drawing a comparison to the glass formations produced by the intense heat of nuclear explosions on Earth, where sand and other materials undergo rapid melting and subsequent fusion.
Adding another layer of complexity, Brandenburg suggests that the observed distribution of these elements is not random or haphazard, but rather concentrated in specific areas that display potential signs of ancient structures and settlements. He specifically references images of the Cydonia region, famous for the face on Mars formation, as potential evidence of a lost Martian civilization that may have been deliberately targeted during the alleged nuclear attack. While the face on Mars has been largely dismissed by the scientific community as a product of pareidolia, a phenomenon where the human brain perceives familiar patterns in random stimuli, Brandenburg maintains that the surrounding area exhibits other telltale signs of artificial structures and that the observed concentration of radioactive elements within this region cannot be merely attributed to chance.
Brandenburg further invokes his own research and expertise in the fields of plasma physics and nuclear fusion to bolster his overall theory.
He challenges the notion that a natural nuclear reactor, as some scientists have proposed as an alternative explanation, could account for the observed levels and distribution patterns of xenon-129 and other radioactive elements on Mars. He also suggests that the presence of specific isotopes, such as potassium-40, could be a direct result of nuclear explosions that transmuted other elements into these specific isotopic forms.
The counterpoint, examining scientific rebuttals and alternative explanations in detail. Despite the compelling and intriguing nature of Brandenburg's arguments, the vast majority of the scientific community remains unconvinced, offering a range of alternative explanations for the observed anomalies that do not involve the invocation of a nuclear cataclysm. One of the most prominent points of contention centers on the precise origins and mechanisms responsible for the presence of xenon-129 in the Martian atmosphere. Critics contend that xenon-129 can be generated through natural processes, such as the radioactive decay of iodine-129, which was prevalent during the early stages of the solar system's formation. They suggest that the elevated levels of xenon-129 on Mars could simply be the result of natural geological processes that have released trapped iodine-129 from within the Martian crust over extended periods of time. Furthermore, they propose that variations in xenon-129 concentrations between different regions of Mars could be attributed to differences in the composition of the Martian soil and variations in the rate at which these gases are released into the atmosphere. Isotopic analysis of Martian meteorites found on Earth provides some support for this argument, revealing varying concentrations of xenon-129 that correlate with the meteorite's origin and geological history.
Another significant criticism targets Brandenburg's interpretation of uranium and thorium concentrations on the Martian surface.
Scientists argue that the observed variations in the distribution of these elements could be caused by a variety of natural phenomena, including past volcanic activity, the impact of meteoroids, and the complex processes of sorting and distribution of materials by wind and water erosion.
They point out that there are numerous regions on Earth with naturally elevated levels of uranium and thorium that are not associated with any known nuclear explosions.
Additionally, scientists have proposed alternative mechanisms for the formation of Trinitite-like materials on Mars, such as volcanic eruptions or lightning strikes, which can also generate sufficient heat to melt and fuse surface materials. Analysis of Martian soil samples by rovers like Curiosity and Perseverance have revealed the presence of perchlorates, which, when heated by volcanic activity or meteor impacts, could produce similar glassy formations.
The claims surrounding artificial structures in the Cydonia region have also faced strong skepticism from the scientific community. Many researchers attribute the perceived structures to pareidolia, a well-documented psychological phenomenon where the human brain tends to perceive familiar patterns in random or ambiguous visual information. Higher-resolution images of the Cydonia region obtained by later missions have revealed the face on Mars to be a natural geological formation resulting from the complex interplay of erosion and weathering. Furthermore, studies of the elemental composition of the Cydonia region have not found significantly higher concentrations of radioactive elements compared to other areas on the Martian surface.
The broader context, exploring the scientific process and the burden of proof. The debate surrounding Brandenburg's theory underscores the fundamental principles of the scientific process, particularly the importance of critical thinking, skepticism, and the need for rigorous evidence to support extraordinary claims. The scientific method relies on the formulation of hypotheses, the collection and analysis of data, and the peer review process to ensure the validity and reliability of scientific findings. In the case of Brandenburg's theory, the burden of proof rests heavily on demonstrating a causal link between the observed anomalies on Mars and a past nuclear event. This would require ruling out alternative explanations for the observed phenomena and providing compelling evidence that the anomalies are uniquely attributable to nuclear explosions.
The path forward charting a course for future Martian exploration. The question of whether Mars was ever the site of a nuclear war remains an open and unresolved issue. While Brandenburg's theory continues to spark debate and intrigue, it remains firmly outside the mainstream of scientific thought, awaiting more definitive evidence to either confirm or refute its claims. Future missions to Mars, equipped with advanced analytical instruments and the ability to collect and analyze Martian soil and rock samples in situ, will play a crucial role in shedding light on this enduring mystery. These missions could potentially provide the data needed to determine the true origins of the xenon-129, uranium, thorium, and other elements on Mars, as well as to identify any potential evidence of past nuclear activity. Furthermore, continued research into the geological and atmospheric history of Mars, combined with advanced modeling and simulation techniques, could help to better understand the range of natural processes that could have shaped the planet's current state. Only through rigorous scientific inquiry and the pursuit of new evidence can we hope to unravel the mysteries of Mars and determine whether it truly bears the scars of a nuclear cataclysm or whether its current state is the result of natural processes operating over billions of years.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future ideas that challenge us to think outside the box. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, and don't forget to always maintain that curiosity that drives progress. Also, explore even more fascinating content on our channel. From life-changing tips and cutting-edge technology, to the mysteries of spirituality, travel to various countries, delicious recipes, health hacks, and language learning, there's something here to spark your curiosity and elevate your life. Dive in and discover a world of knowledge awaits us.